Just a few notes before we get started for the University of Minnesota. This was their third win in the state of Connecticut this year, having swept Yale earlier in the season on November 23rd and 24th. It was also their fifth win against the University of Wisconsin this year, improved to 38-1-1 on the season. Also the 19th time that the team scored 5 goals or more in a contest. Minnesota is now 17-8-1 in the NCAA tournament, with of course 5 NCAA titles, and also improved to 10-6-1 in Frozen Four play. So just before we get started with an opening statement from Coach, we will have an opening statement from Coach Frost. We'll then open it up for questions for the student athletes. We'll get them taken care of and then have them head out so that they can get cleaned up. And we'll open it up for questions for Coach after that. So, Coach, if you could please start off with an opening statement.
Well, thanks. That was unbelievable. I mean, I hope everybody enjoyed the game. If you didn't, I'm not sure what needs to happen for people to enjoy it. But I want to congratulate Wisconsin on a great season. Beating them 5 times in the season is extremely difficult, and you saw that today. They were all over us in the first. We were dead in the water. Lev made some great saves and kept it a ball game. Then we come out and start the way we wanted to in the second, only to give up a couple late goals. But then just they persevered and started playing the way that we know that they can, and they believed that they could get the job done, and they found a way to do it. I'm not sure I've been a part of something like that, a hockey game like that. But so proud of our kids, and ecstatic to be heading on to the final here on Sunday.
Thank you, Coach. Again, Hannah Brandt and Rachel Bonner joining us at this time, so we'll open it up for any questions for the student athletes.
Pat Eatonrow from the Associated Press. Rachel, can you just describe that last goal? It looked like you were going backhand and then you went back to your forehand. What did you see there?
Yeah, I normally when I do that, I go to my backhand, and I think I just pulled it to my forehand and it went in. I think she was sliding with me right, and so I put it back left.
Matt Semish, NCAA.com. Hannah, on the goal that Bailey had near the end there, kind of a pretty no-look pass from you. I mean, is that something that you guys have been working on before? And also, it seemed like up until then, Wisconsin had been doing a pretty good job of keeping the half walls. Nothing in the slot was really coming up until then.
Yeah, I mean, well, about the play itself, Bailey was doing a great job communicating to me, so I knew she was there the whole time. I didn't really need to look, so I just kind of left it there for her, and she had an amazing shot, and that was awesome for her and for our team. We needed that one, and yeah, Wisconsin was pushing very hard. They needed a goal there at the end, so we were having a hard time getting it to the net, but we were doing everything we needed to do at that time in the game, and we're still trying to score and everything, but we're okay just getting it deep, and that was fine for us.
Andy Greeter with the Pioneer Press. Coach, can you kind of talk about what these two players were able to do as big players, as Patty Kaz finalists, to score goals in the third period like they did?
Yeah, I mean, Rachel in particular doesn't get all the recognition. Hannah obviously does. She's leading the country in points, but Rachel's had an unbelievable year, and we challenged our seniors and our All-Americans and our Cavs finalists to step up there in the third, and I thought all of them did that.
Again, we would like to keep this for questions for the student athletes at this time, please. Thank you.
Joe Christensen, Star Tribune. Rachel, can you? How are the nerves? You guys are down after the first and the second period. How was the team handling all that? And then if you could just go through that play again on the go-ahead goal, going in one-on-one with Rigsby, and just kind of what a thrill that was for you.
Yeah, nerve-wise, I think, personally, I don't really get nervous. I think that we knew we had 20 minutes left and that we could come out, and we scored 2 quick goals in the second period, and so we knew we could do that again. But teams, our captains, Bailey in particular, tried to keep the team together. You know, some of us were kind of down, like we went up and then we went down again for they were winning and stuff going into the third, so I think she did a great job of picking us back up and just trying to keep us together as a team. And then the goal, Sarah Davis made a great chip on the wall, and their D are really aggressive, and so I think one of their D pinched, and it was a one-on-one, and I love the toe drag, and it just happened to work that time. And obviously going against Rigsby, she's an All-American goalie, and so I tried to, like I said before, I usually go on my backhand on those plays, and so I tried to switch it up a little, and I think she kind of knows that I like to do that, and so I threw something different at her.
Can both of you talk about what it would mean to have 3 consecutive national championships in the dynasty that you guys have established here?
It would be unbelievable. I never even didn't know if I was going to get one, and now on Sunday I'll be playing for my 3rd in 3 years, and me and Sarah Davis were talking about it in the locker room, and it's unbelievable that we're here again and that we got through this game, and now we're headed to our 3rd national title game, and to win it, I don't know. I can't even imagine what it'll feel like.
Yeah, I mean, most teams don't get the chance to play in one national championship game, so for me, this will be my 2nd, and it was awesome winning it last year, and I know how good it feels, so we all want to do it again.
Hannah, can you kind of describe what Coach's message was after the first period, after you guys were down, and then if things changed with his message when the same situation happened in the second intermission?
Yeah, I mean, we knew we weren't playing very well, and they made sure we knew that as well. So, yeah, they just told us to get back to the way we know how to play, and we did that right in the beginning of the second. We were playing great first probably 5 minutes. I mean, obviously we got the 2 goals, and then I think we started to play a little bit more like the first period again, and then towards the end they got a couple goals to take the lead again. And then 3rd period, I think we came out and played a great 3rd period. So that was big for us.
Rachel, how much does experience the past 2 years being in this situation kind of help you guys when you get down twice and have to come back?
Yeah, I think that's really big. Like Frosty was talking about, we kind of tried to lean on our upperclassmen because as freshmen, they've never been here before, and this is obviously the biggest game that they've ever played in. And then our sophomores, they've been here one other time, and they had a thriller last year against BC in overtime, so they kind of knew what it was like. But I think just our leadership came through during those last period.
And on the power play, you guys are down by 1, and it's toward the end of the power play there. Does this team ever get to the point where like they're like squeezing the sticks too tight, or like on that one were you saying, hey, just get something to the net at that point?
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't really a play that we normally do. It was Danny to me in the slot, and I'm always told I need to shoot more, so I finally shot the puck, and somehow it went right in, did not touch a thing. So, no, but we don't really get too nervous, I don't think. I think that's one thing is we have a belief that in each other and in ourselves that we're going to get the job done, and I think that's probably the biggest reason why we've been so successful even when we're down.
We'll take 2 more questions for the student athletes. No more questions? Okay. Ladies, thank you.
Thank you.
And at this time, we'll open it up for questions for Coach Frost.
Brad, any particular adjustments that you thought needed to be made coming in the 2nd and 3rd period? I mean, like I was telling Hannah before, it did seem like even into the 3rd period that they were doing a good job of keeping everybody out of the slot for one thing.
Yeah, they were collapsing around their net and keeping a real good F3. They were more aggressive on their forecheck than they've ever been against us. Normally it's more of a passive 1-2-2, and they went pretty aggressive on us there. And so, you know what, we just did not play real well in the first. And it wasn't necessarily about making a ton of game plan adjustments. It was simply playing better. And they did that in stretches in the 2nd. And then in the 3rd, like Hannah said, belief is a huge thing. And I remember 5 years ago when Wisconsin just owned us, they just believed that they were going to beat us, and we found a way to not win. And right now we've got that belief. I don't know what their mindset is or was, but to come back like that, our kids just kept believing. And I always tell our players that the hardest thing to do is end somebody's season, and Bethany Browsen, our captain, and quote of the day the other day, respectfully disagreed with me, and she said, I think the hardest thing is to know that that somebody beat us for our last game. And so they just believe in each other and found a way here tonight.
Brad, you guys in the WCHA face-off, you came out kind of slow there too. Was this as slow of a poor of a first period as you've seen the team play in a while, though?
Yeah, in a while. I mean, it reminded me a lot of how we played against North Dakota in our one loss this year. They scored 3 and we couldn't climb back. And thankfully Lev made, like I mentioned, made some fantastic saves there to keep it 1-0. And I was hoping it was just a matter of time, but it was not looking good there for through a couple periods. I was frustrated with our players and in the way that they were playing, and they were frustrated. But as we talked about in between periods, the last thing you want to do is look back on this game and have some regrets. So I don't care if we win or lose, but let's go out and play for the person next to you, and let's give everything we got and let the chips fall where they may.
Brad, can you talk a little bit about the game that Kelly Terry had, especially keeping you in it in the first period there?
Yeah, I mean, she's a warrior and somebody that you notice every time she's on the ice. She took a slash there in the early in the third and was playing hurt, but she taped it up and just gutted it out. But her and Sarah Davis, Bethany Browsen, they're kind of the heart and soul of our team, and they're with their work ethic and their toughness. And as we mentioned, we challenged our seniors, our All-Americans, to step up there in the third and lead us, and others would follow, and they sure did that.
You talked before about how difficult it is to end somebody's season. I feel like it's a fair question to ask. What's more difficult, ending somebody's season or going 5-0 against them in one season?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in our league, we play each other 4 times throughout the regular season, and this could have been the 6th time if they would have beaten North Dakota in the WCHA tournament. So it's tough, but you get to this point in the season and the Frozen Four, and you just expect to play the best. And they earned their spot here just like we did, and we knew it was going to be a heck of a hockey game, which is exactly what it was.
Coach Justin Cohen, Inside Hockey. I know you've answered this question before, but now that the game's over, I think we can kind of revisit it. After such an intense game, emotionally intense, the rivalry, obviously, how tough do you think it's going to be in the final, no matter who you guys are facing?
Well, it's going to be a real tough game. Both of those teams are tremendous, and like I said about us in Wisconsin, those Clarkson and Mercyhurst have both earned it too, and whoever advances to the championship game is going to deserve it. And so we know it's going to be an incredibly tough game. I'm not worried about our players from a are they going to be prepared and ready standpoint, and it helps having the day off because I know our kids are exhausted right now, but it's going to be another great hockey game, and may the best team win.
I'm not sure how big of a psychological effect this has, but do you break out the gold jerseys for Sunday? Because, I mean, obviously, the last 2 national championships you didn't win them in white.
Yeah, no, captains wanted to wear whites this tournament, so that's all we got. And I think their hope is to win it in the white, so it looks pretty nice on the wall, going with 3 different colors.
Coach, what did Mark Johnson say to you after the game, if anything?
Just congrats and good luck. Very classy as always, and we have a ton of respect for Mark and Dan and Tracy and their program, and we know it's reciprocated, which makes it tough beating them, but at the same time very respectful and a great program as well.
Coach Kevin Noonan, USCHO.com. You guys, nation's leading offense, 4.77 goals a game. Was there any doubt that this team could be able to overcome the 2 deficits that Wisconsin built on you guys?
Well, I think there was some doubt. I mean, throughout, and Bonna talked about that, just how some players were doubting if we could come back, and it just didn't look good. At least from my standpoint. I'm not sure what you all thought, but. And then all of a sudden they flipped the switch, and once we got that tying goal, everything started to happen for us, and we found another gear that we didn't have in the first 2 periods. But usually when we play Wisconsin over the last probably 5-6 years, it's a race to 3. So when they got to 3-2, it was kind of like, oh geez, we might have let something slip away, because we're the top defensive team in the country, and I think they're second. And then all of a sudden, 60 minutes later, it's 5-3, and we scored 5 goals on arguably the best goalie in the country. So that was obviously huge for us.
I'll take 2 more questions for Coach. No more questions?
All right, thanks
Coach,
everybody.
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you.